Hello, everybody. It is Skip Clark, and it's another edition of Skip Happens. And as you know, I always have a lot of my good friends. They become my good friends on here. Independent artists, those that are trying to make it go at what they love, their passion, their dedication. And we've had Rob Fitzgerald on before. It had to be a while ago, but it's so good to see him. He's north of the border, and he also works for the city of Toronto. So I know that. I know that. But I don't know how much longer because the music he's putting out is like unbelievable. Maybe it's almost time to retire because you being a firefighter, Rob, you can get out at a young age and still go and do something you love.
I
Rob
can't,
Fitzgerald.
yeah, Skip, it's great to see you. Thanks for having me on again. I know we always have great chats. So
Hmm.
seeing you at CRS and Nashville, things like that. So I feel like I've come to know you quite well, which is great. So
Yeah.
yeah, but the job of firefighting, it does take a toll on the body. And, I'm, close to 20 years in now. And, it's taken a toll on my body, but I have I've got the opportunity here that I have two great passions.
Mm.
So I'm third generation firefighter. So
Love
it
it.
runs in the family and it's
Hmm.
something that I'm built to do. So, and, my love for music and, in the countryside especially, but the big thing for me is the love of it, what it does is it's my therapy as well.
Hmm.
So, from
I
everything that
love it.
I have to see at work, and I can come home and I can write songs, record, get together with some incredible musicians and just kind of live this other life away from
Yeah.
that profession.
Nothing better.
Absolutely. So
Mental health, right there. It's your own way of taking care of a lot of issues, and probably more than likely, I know because I was a firefighter for a lot of years, but more than likely, the things you see and the things you have to do, and once you get home, it's a way of you kind of putting your mind in a different frame and start thinking about your music, help
and
you
it
heal.
does. Working downtown Toronto, it's the nature of the beast. Any big city, there's just going to be more
Mhm.
of everything.
Yeah.
So you're just going to see things that most people aren't supposed to see.
Mhm.
And music is a
And
really good release
it's a
for
healer.
that.
It's a healer.
It is, and that's why I call it's my therapy.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
and I've got the drive and passion that, and not only that, just every time I release a single, good things keep happening.
I
So
love it. I
yeah.
love it. You said you've been on the force nearly 20 years, but how long? I know we've probably talked about this before. I know I'll have to go back and look at the other podcasts, but how long have you been playing music?
Yeah, I would have to probably go back to a former life that, when I had longer hair and I cut my
Wait a
hair.
minute. Can
And
I find that on here? Wait a minute.
you, it's buried. You probably can, but
Love it.
basically gave it up to have a family,
I
get a
got you.
real career
Hmm.
job, and
Hmm.
it wasn't
Hmm.
until my daughter was in her teens that she wanted to learn how to play guitar, and I thought,
Oh, wow.
why not teach her some of what I know, and I
Cool.
just kept the guitars out, and I started writing, and one thing led to another, and I didn't want to be an actual artist. I just wanted to be a songwriter, firefight by day, songwrite by night,
Hmm.
send stuff out to publishers. And just some industry people just suggested that, why don't you give it a shot at the artist side? And COVID was perfect for that because everybody was
Oh,
stifled
yeah.
because of it. So I had a chance to kind of regroup and brand myself and,
Hmm.
recordings
Hmm.
and, promo shots, and then when it all opened up, I kind of hit the gate along with everyone else. So it was probably a little bit of a blessing in disguise. I wouldn't necessarily say coving is much of a blessing, but
Hmm.
it's been
Oh, I
good.
hear you.
And then with each single that I've released, especially this one, there's just more and more people that I've got in my corner now that just help me with the next one, more exposure.
Hmm.
Nothing
Hmm.
happens overnight, and I'm just having a blast with it every step of the way.
Exactly. Do you take the guitar to work with you?
Yeah, well, I actually have a guitar in my locker at work,
Oh, I love
so
it. And the guys go, "Hey, Rob, pull out the guitar. Why don't you just,
yeah.
maybe you're not out training. You don't. It's kind of a quiet night, and you have to do
Well,
whatever. You know.
the station I work at is 150 years old. It's the oldest working fire
Oh,
station
wow.
in Yorkville. So now the nice weather, we have bench time outside after dinner. So I usually bring it out and I'll
Well,
start
that's cool.
strumming, and the dogs come by with
Yeah.
the dog walkers, and it's a great community for that. So
Well,
it
that's
just helps
cool.
us to bond with the community that much more.
And what do the guys think about you doing what you do and knowing that you're trying to go to the next level with, with your music?
They love it. They're very supportive. We've got a chief in our hall to other captains. I'm one of the captains as well.
Oh, cool.
Right down to the young bucks, and to the young bucks, seeing what I get a chance to do away from work
Hmm.
too.
Hmm.
Everybody does something away from work as well, as it takes their mind off of it. It's a fairly busy hall, so everybody needs
Yeah.
to get the rest that they need to get. But it's there's a few festivals that the whole crew is going to be coming to.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I
so
love that. You have the support of your coworkers, which
and
is
that's
pretty cool.
the other extended family that we have. Everybody supports everybody.
God, I love that. Love that. How often do you get out of Canada and head to Nashville?
So I'm there probably about 4 to 5 times a year now,
Okay.
and it's just the things like CRS is one of them.
Right.
Because
Country radio seminar. Yes.
yeah, that's another tool for me, and Grassroots being my representative out of
Hmm.
Nashville. They're such great supporters and coming down to be able to, and they help me promote, my upcoming releases, or just music in general. I'm doing a lot of recording in Nashville. This current release has given me an awful lot of connections, a publishing deal, kind of record deal as well, that we can dive into a little bit more. But just with that,
Hmm.
songwriting as well, and I'll be doing a radio tour the second week of June. So there's just more that's happening that's pulling me down there more. And,
Yeah. So now you're actually signed with a label.
yeah, it's kind of
That's cool.
it is. It was Aaron Goodvin,
Oh yeah, I know
very
Aaron.
well-known country artist,
Yep.
had a venture with his wife. His wife works on the publisher side,
Hmm.
and he's a grassroots artist as well. So the last CRS, country radio seminar last September, he and I talked because we had an actual grassroots event. So then we started talking, and we made it an actual venture. And so he brought me
Cool.
down and set me up with all kinds of songwriters, sent me their catalog, and it just we narrowed it down to this song that we were currently releasing right now. And it hooked me up with Eric Torres, who's a fantastic producer.
Cool.
Priest, Jimmy Allen, Lee Bryce,
Yep.
James
Yep.
Johnson.
Yep.
So, and the musicians in the room were just incredible. Here's little old me from Canada walking in to these guys that have played with Keith Urban and Janine Fleener, who's on tour with George Strait right now.
Wow.
So these are like
Yeah.
the A list of musicians. So I was so happy to be able to have them in the room, and they treated me so well, and
So
made me
cool.
feel real comfortable. And
Did,
the rest is history.
did you feel intimidated at all?
I was too, because I don't live that life down there, and
Right.
amongst all of those, incredibly wicked session musicians who also play live with pretty much everybody.
Hmm.
So was I a little intimidated? Yes, but they're so good in the room that you wouldn't even know it. And there's no one that ever made me feel that way. So the moment I stepped up to the mic during the tracking session, that it was just like an old glove. And Eric
Wow.
Torres, the producer, is so easygoing and made me feel very comfortable. And of
Makes
course,
it easier. Yeah.
Aaron Goodvin's in the room the whole entire time cheering me on. So it's
That's awesome. Now, for those that don't know Aaron, he's in Canada. He's huge, super huge. I mean, he's like what Tim McGraw is here, from what I understand.
yeah.
But, it's a whole different world north of the border, but that is starting to move over, and, it's overflowing into Nashville now. I
That's
think
right.
we're sharing a lot of artists, and that's how I got to know Aaron. He made the trip to Nashville. I've had him on my Skip Happens podcast before, but for those that don't know, this guy's huge.
He is.
Ask anybody in Canada who Aaron Goodvin is, and they're going to come right out and tell you. He's just, and what a great guy too. So
He is down to earth. He and I become very good friends, and we
Yep,
talk,
yep.
pretty much weekly right now, especially with this new single going on about, and what we're doing now that the single's out is trying to get a little more conversions on the single.
Mhm.
What we can do that's
Well,
further reaching than just the recording.
yeah, I want to talk about that. Let's dive into the new single a little bit. Sounds like a memory. And
Right.
how did that song land in your hands? And What made you say this is the one?
So when we talked about doing this venture together, this publishing kind of mini record deal,
Hmm.
um, he said, before we even get down to songwriting, I'm going to send you a catalog. So this is a catalogs of songs that he's either written or he's co-written, and I think it was about 20 different songs, and one caught my eye or my ear,
Hmm.
and that was Sounds Like a Memory. And so the next step was to then come down to Nashville, and we'll songwrite every day with a different songwriter. And there was a whole slew of them, or they were just, they're hit songwriters. So once the songs were done, I came back and did the demos for it, and everything was being compared to Sounds Like a Memory. That song was so strong, and I
Wow.
said, if this is the worst case scenario, this is the best. This is fantastic.
Yeah, no doubt.
So there was really no pressure knowing that that song was already there.
Hmm.
And while a couple of them were, they were okay, strong-ish, this song was the one, and I knew it was kind of made that for my vocal style, which, going into the studio, I knew I would be able to do it justice. So
Yeah.
so the demo is quite a bit different than the final product, and that's kind of the way I wanted it, giving a little more of that traditional countryside that I'm all about as well.
Yeah, it had to be so much fun though, working with all these A-list players and everybody coming together and making it happen for you and feeling really comfortable. That is just so freaking cool.
It is, and not only that, they're one take.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They
They're
Justin,
so good.
yeah, Justin Ostrander, he was charting the song as the demo was playing in the control room. By the time the song was done, he was done charting. Made quick photocopies. We went out. We did a
Mhm.
quick verse and chorus just to get tempo and feel, and then we banged it off. And then that was it. Then they some of them did their overdubs that they had, and I think probably in 40-45 minutes, start to finish, we were done.
You know,
And
yeah, what I've heard with the song, there seems to be a lot of emotion in your delivery. And did the song connect with maybe a personal experience or a story in your life?
it did. I love that feel, that even though there was the traditional country feel,
Hmm.
but Bluetooth speaker on the sand,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
and you still got some of that current, the current, ways of being able to say certain things. But yeah, I could envision the whole thing, and with a little bit of the soul that was in there, I was able to capture that as well. I just loved it when I heard it,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it's just like, your favorite cover song that you love to sing. It's kind of like that. So
Yeah.
what we've done now is there's a couple more songs that came out of all of this that I'm going to head back down, and we're going to record and make more of this.
Very
This
cool.
is just the first step of many that we're
Hmm.
gonna kinda do
Hmm.
eventually
So
together.
you've had, I made some notes here. You have three new singles and, of course, the album that's coming out
That's
in
right.
2025. What themes or stories are you excited to share on this project?
Um, I would say it's kind of a culmination of all of it. Um, you know, everything right to my last single, which is kind of a tribute to where I come from
Hmm. Hmm.
as a man, and paying tribute to my father.
Hmm.
And so that was a big one, and one that nobody's even heard of, is just about working hard.
Hmm.
And it's just called living hard.
Yeah. Is
And
there anybody, you mentioned your daughter picking up a guitar, but going back to maybe your father, your mother, or let's go back a little bit. Were they musicians at all or
no, they weren't.
no?
They were both civil servants.
Okay. Okay.
So music was never really was never approved as uh, a potential way of living.
Gotcha.
So, or a career, or it
Well,
was
that was
just
back
more.
then.
That's right. It was more, this is the thing you do for fun on the side, and that's where it stays. So, and it's just where they came from. And
Hmm.
my grandfather, so my mom's father, he was musical.
Gotcha.
So whether I picked it up from that side of things, who knows? But
Hmm. Hmm.
it wasn't always country music. I had such a love for Southern rock,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah.
so the Southern rock kind of blended into my country style as well. That's why a little bit of the soul works for me. and as well as the rock side as well.
Yeah. Do you again? Is Emerson Drive? They're still going right in Canada? Do you know Emerson Drive? How about Doc Walker? Some of
Doc
those
Walker
artists.
is maybe not so much, but I don't follow that as much. It's
Hmm.
tough here in Canada. There are so few places that, since COVID, a lot of places closed down.
Yeah, that
And
sucks.
so the
Yeah.
music scene changed big time. It's only really been maybe up to last year that the music festivals really started to flourish,
Mhm.
and a few ended up closing down. So some of the ones that were doing regular tours and a lot of regular stops, a lot of those regular places are gone.
Mhm. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Rob, you've had some pretty cool milestones. You've had, hopefully I got this right. You've had 5 number one singles on the Canadian Indie Country Countdown. That's
Right.
cool. Multiple tracks chart on Music Row, which we know. I think that's how we first got to know each other a little bit, was because of Music Row. What do those milestones mean to you? That's huge.
Well, in Canada, it's just that confirmation that you're definitely on the right track.
Hmm.
And having I think I'm now 5 songs in on Sirius XM here in Canada.
God,
So no
that's
longer am
awesome.
I just playing in some local areas around here. Anyone that can get Sirius XM is now hearing my stuff.
Mhm.
So and it just leads to more listeners knowing who I am, which just
When you
helps.
talk about Sirius XM, and of course, a lot of people get their music from satellite radio. I mean, is it the same? Now, maybe this question's really dumb. Is it the same that's here in the States?
It's the exact same Sirius XM.
Okay.
It's just channel 171 instead of what the highway is,
The
which
highway's like 56.
yeah,
So,
so it's an upper channel. So, and it's only Canadian country music.
oh, okay. Is it labeled Canadian country?
It's actually called Top of the Country. It's
I
not,
love that.
but it's not labeled Canadian, but
Okay. That's good to know. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Now, see, when I get in the truck tomorrow, head into work, I'm gonna go to it and see what it sounds like. So
And
maybe you never know, I might hear a Rob Fitzgerald song come on.
well, I'm being played there right now, so you'll
God,
hear
I
some,
love that.
you know.
I got. And what is that feeling like? I mean, you must be out in the truck doing whatever, and you got Sirius XM on, and you're listening, and your song comes on. What do you just kind of go, wow,
That
okay,
is cool, but what's even more cool is when somebody sends me a screenshot that they're driving around and
yeah,
and it's playing for them, and then it's just because I don't always, so a lot of times I may listen to my own playlist and not
hmm
Sirius XM, but a lot of people send me, I go, your song's on right now, so that's very
God,
cool.
that's so cool. Yeah, that's very cool. I didn't know that though. Obviously, I know what the highway is and all that, and I just did, when you mentioned that, I'm going, I don't know if I've heard Rob on the highway, but now it all makes sense that it's that upper channel.
Yeah,
So
cross your fingers. We're going to see if we can get to the highway with this new release. So
yeah.
we'll see
Well,
how.
they do the highway find, which is pretty cool.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Grassroots is going to be working their magic and seeing what they can do in
Well,
this case. So
we've talked about this before, but you got a good team with Grassroots. So
oh,
I
they are
just,
phenomenal. I've been with them since day one, and
yep.
with every release, I can't say enough. So now we've gone even
Mhm.
further. We've gone the streaming side as well. So they've partnered with another company here in Canada called
Great.
ZYK Marketing.
Hmm.
So between the two of them, what they're doing for me, and then on the radio side is just getting me more. So it's
Hmm.
I think right now this is the second weekend for Sounds Like a Memory, and we're 200,000 streams on Spotify.
Damn.
So
And growing.
yeah, and growing. And what 300? I think I took a look today. 355 playlists. So some editorials, which is great, but that's just regular people just throwing me in their playlist as well. So it's
Well, and rightfully so. So,
but
it's
yeah. So anyways, it's going well. I have
you're
no
in a good
complaints.
spot.
And with all the summer gigs that are coming up,
Mhm.
it's going to be a fun season.
So, when was the last time you were at the Bluebird? You did play the Bluebird, right?
Yeah, that was.
Was that nerve wracking?
Yes, it was. Won't lie. It's very, very nerve
And
wracking.
it's so quiet, right?
It is, and it was the Monday night open mic because I'm not
Oh,
local. They really do their Sundays to their locals.
gotcha.
So I was able to sign up and do it, and it was right when the Bluebird documentary movie came out. So the lineup to get in for the open mic night was it's a strip mall, so it's
Yeah, yeah.
lined up all the way down, and it was packed.
Wow.
and I got a chance to do 2 songs while I was there, and I have people that are still following me from this day just from that performance.
Just
So
once. Look at that. I see the
yeah,
cat behind you. I see the
yeah,
cat.
yeah.
He's
That's
like,
my son's cat. So
oh, he's
probably,
spying on you.
probably trying to get downstairs.
Probably. Oh, it looks like it. Looks like he's trying to get the door. But not only the Bluebird, but you've been doing a lot of festivals across Canada.
That's right.
And is there one performance out of all those festivals that might stand out?
I would have to say last year's at Summerfest was truly magical. I've I've yet that's the first festival that was that big that I've played. The reception for
Mm,
it was incredible. I my band didn't come with me, but I had an A list of musicians that were out there that
cool.
were just phenomenal. They tour with everyone here in Canada. So to the stage, to the people, the crowd, it was an incredible set, an incredible experience. My wife's family lives there, so it made
Oh,
sense to
nice.
try and go there and play. And
Yeah,
we're not
100%.
not far from where the festival was, and it's surrounded by mountains.
Oh,
And
beautiful. Beautiful.
yeah, so it was got a chance get a chance to meet Keith Urban
All
and
right, keep dropping the names. I like
rub,
this.
rub shoulders with people that I and so
You
it
know,
was that was the standout one. But we've got a couple festivals this year that are going to be standout again as
but
well.
they're all north of the border. They're up
They're all up
Canada.
there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
what is there is it hard for you to come across the border to do shows, or if you wanted to bring the band or maybe hook up with some musicians over here? And I mean, is that a challenge for you?
if I was a tribute band, it might be a little bit easier, but to just kind of step on the other side of the border and say we want to tour,
Hmm.
it would be it's pretty expensive to do just for me, and play smaller venues. I'd have to pretty much do it just as a solo show.
Mm,
So we're trying to work our way up to let's see if we can make enough noise that we can actually start joining support for bigger odd.
I love that. I love that. And you mentioned that you're going to go out on a radio tour, hopefully,
That's right.
grassroots, and I'm sure they will. They'll get you hooked up and all that. Do you know when that's going to happen?
Yeah, so that's going to be the second week of June, and I think this
Okay.
is going to be the most states that I'll be in. For I've done a number of radio tours through
Mhm.
that, but we're hitting 5 different states for this one. So it's going to be a great tour. Some I've already been to, some I haven't. So
It's cool. It's
yeah,
cool. How
I
about
love it.
is New York on the list or no?
Um, it's not on this one, but it can
Okay.
definitely. I think New York, because of the proximity where we are, we can make it a separate one.
Dude, I'm only a few hours from Toronto. I'm
That's
just
right,
saying.
exactly. So just
You come
jump
right
over the
across at
border.
Niagara Falls, baby. You come right down to Thruway. Hey, come on.
That's
We'll
right.
do the podcast here in person.
That'd be great. That's
I know it'd
perfect.
be a lot of fun. So that's why you got to, we need to keep in touch with this because if you do come anywhere close, I'd get you hooked up, put you in front of some people, and then we could hang out and have a few cold ones and do a podcast. So
That's a great idea. I think we should do that.
I think
So
so. Like I said, we're only going, what, 3.5 hours from you?
yeah,
I don't know. It's been a while since I've gone that way, but
yeah. Syracuse, I
it's
think,
still,
is about that
yeah,
from here.
yeah,
And,
yeah. So, with the tour plans in the works, and what can fans expect from your live shows?
a whole lot of energy. So I've got a 5-piece band, including a fiddle player.
Yeah.
Everybody sings, so the harmonies
Oh my God, that's
are,
great.
are solid. So and music wise, they're as good as you can get anywhere, and love playing with them. I always said that if I'm going to have whatever band that I want around me, I want to enjoy being around, and I enjoy being around all of them. And we have a great time, and
Mhm.
you become a little more of a family once you've got an entire summer of festival tours going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Is what it
You
is.
get to know a little bit too much about each other.
Yeah, and I'm really easygoing. I'm not a tough boss when it comes to, making sure everybody does this and that. I just as
It's all
long as you
about
show up
fun.
and you're ready. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And that's where I come from. It's like, being a firefighter and it being as stressful as it is,
Hmm.
that I get a chance to do music.
Hmm.
So, what's there to be uptight about?
No, that's like
So
we were talking about minutes ago. When you come home after a tough shift, music's your outlet.
Exactly.
You know, it's all, and it helps mental health and all that. So,
Yeah.
you know, we all go through a lot. Is performing, is it different in Canada as opposed to Nashville, or is it pretty much the same regardless?
Uh, I find it the same anywhere.
Okay.
And I performed in Nashville. And in Nashville, it's a little different because I usually do the songwriting rounds either at, either at Live Oak or the Commodore or the
Mm-hmm.
Bluebird Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of performance is a little bit different. It's the story and then the song. Whereas if you come to see us in the band, you're actually getting a chance to actually experience, just experience music.
Yeah.
We've got a few choice covers that we love to add in there that just work well for this, old school country theme that we've got going on.
Yeah. So was it just the last CRS that I saw you there?
Yeah.
Was it,
no, not this one.
Was it 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago. I didn't get a chance
Wow.
to come down because I had just come back from recording. And
Gotcha.
yeah. So
What'd you get out of that?
a
Saying it
lot.
was your first time going, and I remember seeing you sitting on the bench. I think your wife was with you,
It was with me, yes.
and we got talking a little bit. But what did you get out of CRS as an artist?
I got a chance to actually connect with the program directors that,
Mm-hmm.
if I haven't done a tour to their station that I wouldn't know. So being able to have that FaceTime with them for them to get and I think there was 3 or 4 stations that came out for the grassroots night because of that, just that chatting and talking and getting to know me. They picked up my next single.
There you go. So it paid off for you. I mean, no doubt.
It
No
is.
doubt.
That's right. So the having that connection makes a big difference, and they get a chance to see that I'm not just a hack, that I just kind of I'm in this for good.
You're the real deal. When it comes to the music, you're the real deal.
right.
You're not somebody you're not. So, hey, so let's talk about your writing a little bit. Explain to me your style, your creative style, and where do you come up with your ideas?
I would say that's absolutely everywhere. A lot of times it's driving. A lot of or it can be noodling around. Sometimes chords come before the melody. Sometimes a hook comes out of something else that I've heard. One song that we haven't released yet is "Living Hard," and we were in Alabama, and we were driving to one of the radio stations down there, and I think it was a late June or early July, and it was 100 degrees in the shade,
Yeah.
and there was guys working on the road, and I said, "That's a hard living." So I just play on words. Hard living is living hard on me. So. And that single will actually come out, and I recorded that one in Nashville as well.
Awesome.
So,
awesome. So you got that creative side that comes out, and it's all about life. It's all about what you see.
Exactly. Yeah. And everything's been said a million times. How can you say it a little bit different? So
that's all. But you got to be yourself. Saying it a little bit different. You are yourself. You have to be unique. Don't be, don't try to be somebody you're not. But
yeah,
I hear so many different things from different artists. So
yeah, so I've also got a very good mentor, a songwriter mentor. He lives out of Orange County, California. Warren Sellers. I met him at the Durango Songwriter.
Okay.
Expo. And I've been with him, I think it's been 4 years now, and I'm still learning from him. And it's that whole craft of songwriting. I've learned so much from him. And he's helped me quite a bit. So I enjoy our sessions together still to this day.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like a memory. If somebody wanted to go and get that, they can get that now, right?
Yeah, you can. So if any of your streaming services, your Spotify, Amazon, Apple, I think it's
all up there.
Yeah. So
oh my God, there's so many different platforms now.
Yeah, there's
the DSPs, man.
That's right. So whatever you have, it's on it. So
I love it.
YouTube, TikTok music, it's on.
I went to YouTube. I didn't see it on. I was going to play it in the beginning here, but I didn't, unless I just overlooked it. But my bird feeder kept interrupting me.
Yeah, so it's there. So it's like I said, it's getting really good response. So
how do you stay grounded? How do you recharge?
My wife makes sure that happens.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I hear you there.
I think the biggest thing is I don't take this too seriously, and sometimes getting blinders on and just working hard at it and going out and doing it. I think that's the grounding part in
Mm,
itself. I find this business of music is very humbling, and
mhm,
it can be fleeting at times. So sometimes you get a lot of no's, sometimes it just goes smooth sailing, you get a ton of yeses. So it's just a
mhm.
matter of just keeping your nose to the grindstone and plug away at it.
Now, here's the good thing. You've got a great job, and
That's
we
right.
thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
You got a great job, so I think that kind of takes a lot of the pressure off the other.
You
You're,
said it
you,
exactly.
you know what I mean? It's like, God,
Absolutely.
this is all I do. I got to have a hit, or I can't pay my bills.
That's right.
But I think you're doing it right. You've been a firefighter for how many years? Almost 20. And now you're going, you're getting close. I don't know how it is there if you're 20 and out, but I know here in the States, it's like 20 and out, whether it's police, fire, you can retire at a young age and you can go on and do something you absolutely love and collect your retirement.
Yeah, there is no 25 and out. You can go almost as you can go to 65.
So they
So
go by an age. Yeah.
you can go as, like I said, you can go as long as you want. There used to be, but they lifted that.
Gotcha.
But you're absolutely right. I don't have the pressure. So if where I don't have to wake up and say I have to songwrite today. You
Right.
know, I have terrible ADHD, so I see a million different squirrels all day long. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get to it when I get to it, and but the part of it being an indie artist is that I have to wear all the hats.
You
So
do.
there's a different set of goals that I work on every single day, depending on what I need to do to keep things moving along.
Hmm. Hmm. What what advice would you give to somebody that's trying to do what you're doing? Just make sure you have a backup plan. What else?
A backup plan is good, but just make sure you have a plan, period. To just try to wing it doesn't work because, you know, there's so much social media these days that you have
Mm,
to master that part of it. Now, there's a lot of artists these days, they're going viral that way and then they're getting picked up instead of the work happening first. And then, okay, how do I make social media fit
sure.
in there along the way? How do I make sure the recordings are there? How do I make sure that my songs are the as competitive as they can be in this market? So that's why I joined the Nashville Songwriters Association, this mentor I have
Hmm.
out of California. So, who do I talk to um, to go play the better venues around town? I'm going to
Hmm.
have to start off with the smaller ones. So, with you're just going to have to be ready to put in all of the work that it's going to take to be able to do the live aspect of it. Have
Hmm.
musicians that believe in the project. That doesn't happen right away because they don't know who you are. So, and then you just start gaining steam, picking up more people, having more people in your corner. People believe in the project. I have Canadian radio promoters, U.S. radio promoters, and just get yourself out there as much as you possibly can.
It's good stuff. Are you doing all your own social?
Yes,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
a lot of work, dude.
it
That's a
is.
lot of work.
And I have help from there's some people that they do it for a living, so you get little tips and
Hmm. Hmm.
pointers on because the algorithm changes or all there's all kinds of things that change how you may plan to how to post, when to post, what to post.
Hmm.
So
So, what's one song that sounds like a memory to you?
a song that sounds like a memory.
I'm going to throw a couple questions at you just for the
Yeah.
fun of it.
Uh, I would say any one of the Chris Stapleton love songs,
Oh my God. Yeah.
Millionaire,
Millionaire. Yeah. Totally.
another one. Just he's my biggest influence. So that's and anytime I hear his is just it just sticks in my head and you always say, boy, I wish I could write like that. That's for sure.
He's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's your are you up late writing sometimes? Late at
I'm
night?
up I'm up late usually. Yeah. And I don't know if I write late. I write best in the afternoon. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
my coffee time. But maybe t-shirt, my latest is coming up with new merchandise. So
Gotcha.
I'll stay up late doing t-shirts.
Mhm.
So that doesn't
So,
dive into my daytime stuff.
what is your favorite songwriting snack? Bowl
Um,
of ice cream. I don't
Yes.
know.
I like to songwrite with whiskey. So, but I don't
Ah,
snack with when I do songwriting. I love whiskey, so
yeah,
it's
yeah. No, no, I get that.
and
And what's your flavor? What do you drink?
um there's lots. Chattahoochee 111 is one of my
Ah, nice,
favorites.
smooth.
So,
Yeah,
and it's there's some Tennessee whiskey I absolutely love.
nice,
So there's some
nice.
whiskeys here as well. So I've got a decent collection. But
All right, I'm gonna throw one at you. What first country album you ever owned?
I think it was Alan Jackson.
Ah, did
Yeah,
you see him on the award show the other night or no?
did. Yes.
Oh my God, I teared up when he sang. Remember when? It was
Yeah.
just
I
oh
I love him as a performer. I wish he could still perform,
yeah.
as well. But it's like, between Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn are another huge one for
Oh
me.
my gosh.
Alabama, I think around the same time. I love
Mhm,
Alabama as
mhm.
well. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I tailor some of the harmony
I like
based
that.
around
Yeah.
is Alabama, without it being too group harmony focused. But there's a lot of that happens in the
How
live.
is Laney's following up where you are?
Amy
It's got
Wilson,
yeah,
it's huge. It's
huge,
huge
huge.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's 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 it. She's got the formula, and it doesn't matter male or female side. She's it.
What would happen if she called you right now and said, "Hey, Rob, I want you to go out on tour with me"? What I
Oh,
mean, what would be the reaction in your house right now?
I say, are you sure you got the right guy? But after that, I would say yes,
You
and
know,
then figure it all out along the
yeah.
way.
You know,
So
and she's so humble.
yeah,
We had actually the reason I said that was we had a Zoom call with her today, and we got talking about her next single, which is just going to it's a monster. I can tell you right now, and at least here in the states. And I was just kind of curious how being in Canada, how it all because there is that difference, Canadian, U.S., but still, I guess.
and
Maybe that was a dumb question, but
such an inspiration to women as well.
yeah, yeah.
Um, you know, Miranda Lambert, she was another a big one. She's another
Mhm.
favorite of mine as well. So the house that built me, it's
Oh
just
my
an
God,
incredible
yeah.
song. It's one of my favorite songs. But she's done such a good job for. There's going to be so many young girls now see that say that's what I want to do,
Mhm, mhm.
and she's persevered, and she just keeps getting better and better.
One thing I don't know. I love your music and I love what you do. And then there's also Zach Top here, who's got the older sound. We just started in on his next single called "Use Me." I Never Lie went to number one,
Yeah,
but it's that old sound that it's all coming back,
that's
and
right.
it's huge.
And I
So
was very happy about that because I didn't stay with that whole
I was going to ask.
modern track. I stayed with the more, I would say, traditional contemporary. More is
Yeah.
what it's like, but yeah, the traditional side works for me. I'm not quite as traditional as Zach Top, but he's
Hmm.
he's he's fantastic at it. He's got the you know so his background is huge when it comes to that. So
Hmm. Hmm. What's one thing about the music industry that most people don't realize until they're in it?
uh how long it can take.
Everybody wants it now, and
That's
it
right.
doesn't happen like that.
Nashville, they always say it's a
It's
10-year
10-year
town.
town.
I actually think it's 10 years anywhere.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you. And it's so true. It is a 10-year town.
That's
I
right.
mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to pay your dues. You'll wait
That's
on tables. You could be
yeah,
sweeping the sidewalks, but you got to do what you got to do. So,
that's right.
yeah.
There are been some people that have gone viral on TikTok and things like that, and have kind
Hmm.
of skipped that. And it's tough when you're trying to slug it out and work on the craft and
Hmm.
doing all
Hmm.
the steps that you need to do that that it's going to take time. When you see that happen, it's just like, well, it is what it is. So
Hmm.
is it going to
Hmm.
stop me from doing what I'm doing? No, because there's a million other reasons to why I do it anyway. So
Yeah. That's
and
cool.
but for me, it's like I said, it's just one single at a time, one song at a time, one
Mhm.
recording at a time, and now my phone's ringing. So
Love
it's
that.
good.
Hey, you're
Yeah,
busy. That's
yeah,
income. That's helping.
that's
How
right.
does that work though? Because you must, with the fire department, you have the rotating shifts, right?
That's right. Yes.
So, I mean, there's going to be weekends where you need to work.
There are, and I'm quite selective when it comes because I do my own booking. It's great.
Okay.
So somebody says, "What's your availability?" I'll
Yeah.
throw up
So
my
it's right there.
availability, and it'd be on the days that I'm not working. That doesn't
Mhm.
always work out with festivals because certain festivals fall on certain weekends.
Correct.
So I just move some of my vacation time around,
Yeah. Yeah.
and if I really need to, there we do what's called subbing. So you
Mhm,
just work
mhm.
for each other on
Yeah.
different.
My brother was a city firefighter here, and he did that a lot. If they had something going, they would sub. They'd
Yeah,
move around a little bit. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
yeah.
Rob Fitzgerald, man, I tell you, it's great to see you.
You too,
Just,
Skip. I always love
just
talking to you. This is like a great conversation.
I that's what it's about. And to find out about you, and you got the new music out, and people need to go and get that. You need just check this guy out. All right, it's Rob Fitzgerald. You can Google him. Well, I did that, and some other Rob came up, and it definitely wasn't you because that Rob was like 90 years old. But I said, "Oh, that's not Rob." But Rob Fitzgerald, just put music after it, and he'll come up and check out the brand new song. It's huge, and you know what? I'm going to find a link and I'm going to attach it to this video, so whoever they'll hear the music. Sounds like a memory. So,
Sure. I think it may actually be on Play MPE, so I'm not sure
oh
if
yeah,
you
I
can
can go right over there
yeah,
on the other side of my room, and I
yeah,
can pull it off. That's what I'll do. It is there now to mention it, so
yeah.
that's cool.
So, but yeah, I'm glad you're doing this, and I
Yeah,
know you talk to some big artists too. So the fact that
yeah.
you're having this conversation with me, I really appreciate
You
it.
know, and I'm not just saying this. Everybody's the same. Everybody, I treat them all on the same level. You're as big as the next one. You know, it's just it's the way it is. By the way, you know Jacob Smalley?
Yes.
He says hello. He says, "Hey Skip, hey Rob." He just chimed in. So,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, good guy. I got to get him back on here too. So that's what it's about. Love the song, Rob. He said. I don't know if you can see it, but
I'm
he's
reading it right now. It's
yep,
perfect.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Well,
Rob, it's been great catching up with you. And of course, anytime you want to come back on, you just reach out. You got what you need to get a hold of me. So,
great to
we
know.
make it happen and just keep doing what you're doing. Stay safe. I know what that's like. Been there, done that. So, but being a captain, you're up front. So you're riding in the cab.
Yeah, that's right. The grunt work that I do, I don't need to do as much of the grunt work these days. So, but it's a busy truck, so
Hmm.
it's still demanding, still requires you to be in shape. So
Yeah. Is it a truck company or is it an engine? I forgot.
so here we call them pumps, which would be an
Pumps.
engine in the
Okay.
U.S.
Okay.
Our we also have a ladder,
Mhm.
so it's but we also have what's called aerials. The
Mhm.
aerials have pumps, the ladders don't have
Do they
pumps.
have platforms like an aerial
We have
platform?
platforms, and we
Yeah.
have one, that's the tower. Tower 1 is, what is it? 230 feet it'll go.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's new. It's only about a couple of years
Holy
old,
crap.
and, we just got it, so it's a
Yeah.
downtown truck as well for all the high rises, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's, I love being on an engine because I love to fight fires, so,
There you go.
uh,
You're right there.
yeah, that's right.
So you're the guy shutting out orders. The driver, he's pumping it.
That's right, exactly, yeah, so,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Usually I don't have to give too many orders because the crew's that good, so everybody knows.
Everybody's good. Everybody's got a job to do. I know I've been there. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that, these guys know what they're doing.
That's
They
right,
know where they're going to go. They know what their job is, whether it's to open the roof or take care of another duty. They know what's going on.
exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks
Pretty
again
cool.
for having me, Skip. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And I will see you at CRS next February.
I
So,
hope so. And keep in mind, if you happen to come a little bit south of the border, we're just 3.5 hours. So
it's
you
a great
just,
idea. I think I'll talk to Grassroots and see what we can work out with a little tour into New York.
yeah, absolutely. Talk to Nancy or whoever you need to talk to and tell them I told you. I
That's
love
great.
them. I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
Rob Fitzgerald, again, thank you for being on Skip Happens tonight.
Thanks a lot, Skip.